Hi Gemini, welcome to your August 2018 Astro Update. It's Raina here. So before I begin, I just want to say that this is another video for the same month. So in case you did listen before and you think that you're going crazy, you're not. I said that the full moon was in the 4th house instead of the 10th house. And even I can't find any app to actually cut out audio and then merge with a new file. So if you have any suggestions, post below. Most are like to extract audio for a ringtone. And I just spent like, I don't know how long, installing and then uninstalling apps that were not going to provide me with what I was looking for. And I've used these kinds of trimmers before, and I don't know why they're always ringtones now, that they're just taking out audio instead of like allowing the files to merge, like taking out and then tossing it and then merging the file. If you know anything like that, please post below, and I will be forever grateful to you. So after a while, I decided I might as well just record the thing over again. So as the month begins, Gemini, there's going to be activity in the 3rd house, which you happen to rule in the universal chart. For you, in your particular makeup here with your particular chart, your solar chart or your natal chart, Leo is that 3rd house for you. So we have the sun there as the month begins, and we also have Mercury there, but Mercury is retrograding in that 3rd house. So there's something going on, maybe with something that you're creating. It could be like a writing project that you're going to be actually revising and doing over again. And at the same time this is happening, another retrograding planet that's a personal planet, Mars, is in the 9th house, the opposite house, and it is dealing with issues of Mars is retrograding there, which could be dealing with publishing, like unpublishing something. So, of course, nowadays, a lot of people are self-publishing. So you may be taking something out and revising it, and that would be the engagement of those houses, both in retrograde motion at this time. Another possibility with Mars retrograde in the 9th house is that you are taking some classes over again that you need, that perhaps, I'm talking about college level courses, some training or college level courses, especially college, yeah. Training might be more of the 3rd house. But you're taking these courses over again because you need them for graduation. Maybe you didn't graduate on time, or you just have to take them in order, maybe they're like gen ed classes in order to progress. So you have to kind of retrace your steps a little bit. It can be too that if you are traveling at this time, which might be kind of interesting for a Gemini person to be traveling like overseas, the 9th house is long distances. That you may be like retracing your steps. Perhaps this has to do with something related to if you're like studying abroad. Mercury retrograding in the 3rd house. Maybe there's some course that you wanted to take, so you got to go back to another country. Maybe you're kind of like in Europe and going through all these different countries, or Asia. I think it would be, for English speakers, that's why I said Europe, but who knows? Or teaching in a former place. A lot of mental activity, both these in the 3rd and 9th houses. So these could be like, if it's not travel, something related to communication, ideas being transmitted, and teaching others, but reviewing too. Maybe some kind of snafu with anything like a contract I've decided to leave in that little bit of music that's my ringtone, because someone called me right when I was recording this on my phone. So gotta love Mercury retrograde, but we can't blame everything on Mercury retrograde, can we? In any case, so these things are happening in these two houses, and you may find that there's a theme of teaching and learning and traveling and things like this, but kind of on hold. Now, on the 6th of the month, Venus is in Virgo, the 4th house of home and family, and goes to the 5th house on the 6th in Libra. Okay, so when Venus is in the 4th house, we could be looking at making money off of real estate. So if you have sold a house, okay, then maybe you're getting the proceeds from that. It could be receiving money from your mother or just your family of origin in general, or perhaps some kind of harmony with your family, with your mother. Venus is harmonizing. Maybe you're redecorating your house. And then on the 6th, when Venus is in that 5th house, this is in a fellow air sign, Libra, so that feels really nice. That's a trine to you, and you are experiencing a beautiful energy flow from to the 5th house. And this could be love. This could be some kind of romantic interest. And it really is romantic, above and beyond anything else. So we are talking about feeling love towards somebody, or it could be about an artistic project, because the 5th house can be creative energy. And so you may be really inspired to do something. If you have your own business, this could be making a profit from your business that may be more substantial than you're used to. So that's nice. The next day on the 7th, Uranus goes retrograde, and this is going to be in your 12th house, Gemini, in Taurus. Uranus went into Taurus in mid-May, and the 12th house is the house of the divine mind. So it's like, it's also past lives, karma, the Akashic records, you could say. And here you have Uranus going retrograde there. While Uranus is even in this house for the next 7 years, you could have unusual types of spiritual experiences happening, because Uranus is I shouldn't say, should I say spiritual or kind of psychic? Let me say psychic experiences. And when Uranus is retrograde, these may even be more haywire, where you find that you can't control them. In my first recording, I talked about Kundalini and how I didn't go into what Kundalini is, but basically we have this potential energy that is supposedly stored at the base of the spine. And when somebody experiences their awakening, it kind of shoots up. And that if you look at if you ever see that the chakra system, and they show the different energy centers, and then the kind of in the middle, that spine, the Sushumna they call it, is where this energy travels. And so anyway, sometimes people awaken this energy, and it's been called the serpent energy. So if you want to think about the Garden of Eden and all that stuff, sometimes I think that was not the original sin, but that is something where you awaken prematurely, and that can cause insanity. Okay, because it's kind of like overloading your circuits, as far as I'm concerned. I don't think it's really that deep. I think that, we can only handle so much at once, that line of the Beatles just came to me. He blew his mind out in his car. He didn't notice that the light had changed. And I was thinking in terms of like the play on words of like, psychedelics and that kind of thing, and that's another area where people are trying to have these spiritual experiences and kind of like do them prematurely, and then they end up paying the price for that. So basically what I'm saying is that be aware of, if you feel like things are happening that are not normal for you, that you're just starting to be more sensitive to psychic phenomena or having like unusual experiences in this area. If you're doing some type of yoga like Kundalini yoga, pranayama, which is breath work, which really kind of, I guess it kind of raises your vibration like very rapidly, but maybe too rapidly in some cases, that can be a very good thing to do. But I'm talking about very specific practices to try to bring this about. And you're experiencing that, then maybe that's a sign that you're doing it in a way that it makes it harder to control. And I think that's basically what we're talking about here is, because it is, awakenings happen. Some of the great teachers today, like Byron Katie and Eckhart Tolle, they had their awakenings where the people outside will look at it and say they were insane. And these came at unpredictable times. They didn't ask for these experiences. They just came to them. But if you're deliberately trying to make something happen, then, that could really force the issue. It may be that we are all destined to awaken at a certain time. From what I've read in a book, it says around the age of 42. But whatever it is, just keep in mind that it's the best way to do it is through a gradual progression instead of trying to do everything at once. But that's just my opinion, right? Okay, so that's going on. And then we have the Leo solar eclipse on the 11th, happening in that third house, a very powerful full moon. See, I'm thinking of that full moon. Very powerful new moon. And so new beginnings can be yours, Gemini. However, I do have to state that the Mercury retrograde is still happening. So it's like these things are going to be kind of put on ice, I feel personally, until the end of the month when Mercury goes direct and when Mars goes direct. And it's like these personal planets, now they're going to be direct by the end of August. And then we can go into September with more of a momentum happening instead of like kind of spinning our wheels to some degree. But the new moon could be new beginnings in anything related to internet, to teaching and learning and writing, communicating like public speaking if that's your bag. And as I say, just if you have something specific that you're looking forward to in this area, don't fret if it doesn't happen within a few days after that solar eclipse. The energy, I've heard everything is active for a month to 6 months. I like 40 days. That resonates with me. Okay. And then, so even when Mercury goes direct, which is going to be on the 19th, by the way, you still have Mars. So just keep all of this in the back of the mind, that you still have a personal planet that's retrograding. So on the 12th, Mars goes back into Capricorn. So first it's in the 9th house, then it's in the 8th house. And so I feel like that you're grappling with something spiritual, or at least some of you. And you're trying to make sense of what exactly it is that you're trying to do. So who knows? Maybe that's what that 9th house is all about for you, Gemini. Maybe you're reviewing, maybe you're doing something over again with Mars there that has to do with some kind of spiritual training. If you, like, let's say you wanted to, that was an example that I should have mentioned, of like going to Bali or Thailand and doing like a yoga training. Maybe that was something that you had planned to do and you couldn't, and now you're going to go back and do that. But I feel like you're still going to be questioning if that's enough. For some of you, you might feel that it doesn't scratch the surface of how you feel spiritually, that it's more geared towards the physical than the spiritual. And that certainly is a claim that you can make in many cases, because the way that yoga is, hatha yoga, is that many of these studios are not, they kind of take out the spiritual from it. At least that's probably not fair for me to say, but I don't get that feeling from it. Even if they mention the terms, I don't get that devout feeling from it. And that's why I always go back to very few that I really feel a strong connection, especially if they have a lineage with a certain guru, then that they're really going to promote it full on. But also with the 8th house, we could be talking about probate issues. The 9th house could be legal matters, and then the 8th house probate. And so you might be, and with the stuff with the 3rd house, that could be siblings. So you may, with Mercury retrograde in the 3rd house, you may have a falling out with siblings over some kind of communication breakdown. And maybe you're not hearing one another properly. Could have to do with mom, money, a house, property that you all are connected to, especially on your mom's side of the family, or your house that you grew up in, perhaps, and money that's connected to that. It's such a shame, isn't it, to have to be alienated because of money and misunderstandings because of it. Let's see. So Mercury goes direct on the 19th, and so maybe that'll be a clarification with siblings. This could even be with your neighbors. The 3rd house can be a local area where there's been some kind of, issue, but you might resolve it by the time the 19th rolls around and beyond. And then you move forward. And this, again, with any kind of thing with teaching or learning, if you thought, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to make it in time for college, you might in fact be able to. You never know. On the 26th, we have full moon in Pisces, which happens to be your 10th house of career. This can be a time of recognition for you, Gemini, for something that you've been accomplishing, or it could be like an ending for some of you who maybe you just decide, I'm out of this profession. And it could be that you're retiring, that's always possible. And yet for some of you, those issues that I mentioned with the 9th house, maybe you want to go into a more spiritual profession. Or if you've been involved in something completely different, you want to teach instead of working a job that you feel like you're born to be a teacher. And no matter how old you are, and you're going into that line of work. It could be, or being a writer. But it could be a great time for your career where, something that you accomplish is coming to fruition and you're reaping the benefits of it. The 10th house is at the top of the chart. It's your place in the world, and it's how you, shine your light and people see you. So there could be that sense of, look at me, going on here, and other people kind of seeing what you're all about. And then the next day, Mars goes direct in the 8th house. And this is the house of that other people's money. As I said, it could be death, talking about estate matters, perhaps. So that could get resolved as well. And So all in all, I think that things are very good for you if you're looking for some kind of moving forward in a writing project, or if you want to teach or you want to go to school. I think you're going to be on top of your game here, Gemini, in August. So that's what I have for you. If you'd like a natal chart interpretation, please check me out. I will put the link below for that. It's kind of like what I do here, but also looking at your personality traits. And Gemini people are very interesting people. They're a lot of fun. Okay, have a great August. Take care. Bye.